All right, everybody, welcome back. It's the end of the world. Michael and Stu.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Stu, and today we are talking about Stanley Kubrick once again. That's right, it's Eyes Wide Shut, a film that has gained shocking new relevance in light of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal, which has very much been in the news despite efforts at suppressing it. The best efforts, namely military efforts at suppressing it. We talked about the Venezuela thing last week. That was dark. And just a slight update on that. I just saw a tweet that was like, all Americans should vacate Venezuela as there are roving gangs looking to identify and murder U.S. citizens.
Sure. Well, I feel gangs are primarily roving.
Yeah, I mean, is it even a gang if it's not roving? Right?
Yes, exactly.
It's yeah, so that's good. All's going well on that front. Now, before we dive into Kubrick's late masterpiece, there's a new conspiracy on the horizon, and we both stumbled across this independently. It's been tearing up the internet because apparently a Chinese dissident has gone on an interview and claimed that China's population, it's actually not what it's not what it's cut out to be. Apparently this interview is from November, but for whatever reason it just kind of blew up over the weekend. I saw a tweet from a venerable Twitter user, x.com user, the everything site, I should say, called Bonesaw MD.
Yes.
And they say there are not...
It's not Reverend Bonesaw MD?
Yeah, the Reverend Dr. Bonesaw? No, not to my knowledge. There are not up to 8 billion people living in this world. A laughable and unserious belief. Truly, most of humanity is unbirthed.
Unbirthed.
I don't even know what that means.
Most of humanity is unbirthed.
Cool. So ghosts, like demons? I don't know.
Yeah.
Most online accounts are ghosts/bots. So there's a ghost angle. Good. Census data has been severely embellished outside of the West, where it's completely trustworthy, of course.
Right.
To claim more resources, peacock, and make their people feel small and inconsequential. So,
wow, it really does it all.
This person claims China has hundreds of unexplained ghost towns. Phone companies reported over 100 million plus users are no longer in service. Weird. They say in the 50s, 500 million was the claim, but it somehow boomed to 1.2 billion by 2000 under communism. And we both know that makes no sense because there's one thing communism can't do. It's supply material.
Or perform a thorough census.
Well, that's also true. It famously lacks bureaucracy. And they also say the one-child policy, but this doesn't make sense. Plus, there's been famines. They also claim India doesn't make sense. I don't know, Michael. Where are you feeling on this utterly anecdote-based conspiracy theory?
I think it's a good example of how people can get roped in.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Because you can see reading this with what some might call an open mind, and and feel like it sort of checks out. You know, I mean, especially if you're willing to believe just hundreds of unexplained ghost towns. Oh, the phone company thing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
that must be true. That must be true,
right? And then I guess like if you don't care to look into it, at first blush, oh yeah, I guess it would allow them to claim more resources, right? Or justify emissions, I guess, would be another one, right?
I guess, yeah.
I don't know.
Not that anyone's like going to punish you for emitting too much, as we know.
Yeah, it's just again, it's interesting that this, like, let's just say that this is the case, right?
Sure.
There's something pretty transparent about the fact that once again, it's like an anti-West, anti-white sort of agenda.
It's a conspiracy, yeah.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
against us. We're just out here performing our noble sensi.
Oh, the last line of this Bonesaw post is great too. It says, "The womb of the world is barren. There is hardly anybody here."
Yeah, I mean, this sounds like a great sci-fi.
Yeah, I mean, it
right?
reminds
Like
me
you
a little.
find out that there's only 1,000 people left on the planet or something.
Sure, but they're claiming there's billions. It also sort of reminds me of the lost time like conspiracy that like
Mhm.
actually there's 500 years that have been spuriously added to the calendar. We're actually only like at
Right.
1500 AD, but in order to suppress like Russian greatness, the
Hmm.
great Khazarian Empire,
Hmm.
they had to add all this fictional history into the books. I think a lot of this comes down to a kind of base empirical literalism, where it's
Yeah.
like, well, I haven't seen the billions of people in China, so therefore they don't exist. Kind of like
Sure.
you see this more and more with people being like, well, there's no photos of like the Middle Ages, so how do we know any of that happened?
Yeah, I probably didn't actually now at second thought.
You know,
The video on here is from someone described as a Chinese dissident,
yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Also like one of my favorite characters.
Paragon of trustworthiness are
That's right.
the dissidents are, yeah. So I don't know. I thought this was fun. It's
Well, the good news is we'll never find out, but it's beautifully difficult to get a beat on this one.
and one of the replies, Bonesaw is like, "I'm actually going to India later this year, so I'll be able to do some on the ground reporting on this." It's like, oh,
Just sort of looking around,
you're
getting a
gonna
feel.
you're gonna see all the 1.4 billion on your vacation to India.
I just imagine him with like a counter.
Yeah, an abacus, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving beads. All right, well, that's good. So, Eyes Wide Shut, a little different than The Shining. Certainly a
Mhm.
little different than contemporary global politics, but a worthy film in my opinion. And
Yeah,
when did you first see this, Michael?
I saw it when it first came out.
Did you see it in the theater?
No, I wouldn't have gotten in at that point. Right?
Oh yeah, you're a little
So,
bit younger than me. I was just 18, so that summer of
yeah.
'99, I was able to go by myself, of course,
Yeah, I
and
guess I shouldn't say when it first came out, but you just in the immediate aftermath.
sure,
I
like
was certainly seeking it after seeing the previews,
in,
as a 16-year-old may do.
yes, there is that. I definitely went. I mean, I was already pretty Kubrick pilled by the summer of '99. I'd certainly seen 2001 and Clockwork
Mhm.
Orange, probably Full Metal Jacket, probably Spartacus. I mean, who hasn't seen
Sure.
Spartacus? And as we talked about long ago, um, Doctor Strangelove. I think I'd probably seen by around then, maybe a little bit later. I'm not sure. So I was a big, I was like a budding film snob. I was like taking out all the French movies from the Blockbuster.
Right.
Which I think, as I've said before, the Blockbuster in Needham, Mass, had a surprisingly robust foreign section.
It's like they knew you were coming.
Yeah, they had me pegged from the get go. So Eyes Wide Shut is Kubrick's last movie. It actually came out after he died, and there's a little bit of controversy over whether this is really his cut or, there were a couple final things that had to be done by his assistants, and so there's some debate about that. It's based on Traumnovelle by Arthur Schnitzler, who's a Viennese novelist, most active in the 1920s, the sort of Weimar era. And I've actually read Traumnovelle. It's great. It is very there. Kubrick makes a few changes, but it's beat for beat pretty much the same story, set in the time of Carnival in Vienna in 1900. I think is the
Mhm.
setting. But a lot of the stuff is the same, and we'll talk about it. Apparently, Kubrick first read this, or had certainly read it by 1968, and thought about adapting this as his follow up to 2001 and sort of started working on a treatment all the way back then. Other people say he'd even read it earlier. He'd read it in the 50s. This is apparently just like one of his favorite potential adaptations because he purchased the film rights in the 60s, like 30
Oh
years
wow.
before he actually made the movie. Yeah, from the Schnitzler people. I mean, Schnitzler died in the 30s, so yeah, his widow, his estate. I don't know how that
Right.
worked out, but he got it. Um, and as I said, it's quite faithful. I would say it's quite a bit more faithful, even with all the setting shifts to Schnitzler's novella than it is. Traumnovelle, of course, just means uh, dream story is
Okay.
traditionally how it's translated. And of course, as I said at the top, it's become all too relevant lately with this sort of
Yeah.
elite run orgy that we see in this sort of center of the film. and people, believe it or not, are trying to say that Kubrick. I don't know why this fixes on Kubrick so much, but people are like, Kubrick was warning us, like he knew about
Yes, I
Epstein,
have seen that.
and
Right.
it's
And that there's some sort of magical cut of the film that really takes Epstein to town that was nixed. Have you seen this too?
oh that Epstein's just like there's like a photo of Epstein on a mantle or something. Like, I haven't. It was the orgy sequence is clearly digitally edited.
Yeah.
Certain cloaked figures are placed in front of certain sex acts. So I don't think it's necessary for Kubrick to have actually known about Jeffrey Epstein himself to have imagined elite society might have a sordid, exploitative dark side involving sex. Like that's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
anyone who's read anything about the world could probably figure that out, right? So in the movie, our protagonist is Bill Harford, played by, of course, everyone's favorite Tom Cruise. I feel like this is just the second Cruise joint we've done. I know we did the hated War of the Worlds.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I feel like there's some more. There's got to be some more Cruise. I love Cruise. I'm a huge
Edge
Cruise
of
head.
Tomorrow. Isn't that
Edge
Cruise?
of Tomorrow. Maybe Magnolia does have the
Yeah.
frogs falling from the sky angle. We could certainly work that in. So our protagonist is Bill Harford. Kubrick apparently wanted a goyish Harrison Ford type, and in an interview somewhere, someone said Harford is derived from Harrison Ford. Like he pushed the two.
Sure.
Yeah. In the novel, the character is called Fridolin, which
That's got to make Cruise feel good. Look, you've got the role, but we are going to pay homage to the one we really wanted.
I think the problem was he really wanted a married couple to play the lead role.
Sure.
And Ford's wife at the time, this is pre-Flockhart, so he didn't have an actress partner, I don't believe.
God, a Harrison Ford, Flockhart, Eyes Wide Shut would have been something else.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been weird. I mean, he went through a lot of iterations of this. At one point, he wanted to do it as a sex comedy, and he even thought of having Woody Allen star with Mia Farrow.
Now we're getting closer to the Epstein of it all, right?
Well, that's so another version would have had Steve Martin in the lead.
What?
Yeah, I mean he went through a lot of names. Harvey Keitel originally was playing the Ziegler role that was played by Sidney Pollack.
Oh, that would have been good.
Well, he hated Kubrick and quit because Kubrick.
Oh, interesting.
Kubrick made him walk through a doorway 175 times. He was like, "I gotta go." And by the way, Stanley, F you. I don't think Harvey was into his method. So Harford's a doctor. They're upper class. They're rich. They live in Manhattan, late 90s New York. He's got a beautiful wife, Nicole Kidman, probably at the peak of her physical perfection. I don't think at the peak of her acting perfection necessarily. It's quite a weird performance. They have a daughter, Helena, and the film
They're
opens.
Also like only a few years away from getting divorced in real life.
Oh yeah,
right?
this is towards the end. The end of the dream was almost over, and I think that works in the movie. Like the sort
it certainly comes through.
Yeah, I mean that's the tension between them feels real. They have a daughter, Helena, and it opens up with them. With the first shot we see is, of course, Kidman, nude, wearing high heels. Can't imagine why a 16-year-old Michael Terry would have wanted to see this. It's quite mysterious. Their apartment is hilarious. They have a kind of very Blauer Reiter aesthetic, like a modernist, very fauvist almost. The paintings on the wall, very bright colors. Then they're attending the party of Victor Ziegler, who's one of Bill's patients, and he, the Harfords are rich, but Victor Ziegler is super rich. I think a lot of people have pointed to Sidney Pollack as the kind of analog to Epstein. Certainly nothing anti-Semitic about that. Anyway, they're at the party, and the first thing they say is, as she asks, she's like, "Do you know anybody here?" And he's like, "Not a soul." And the reason he gets invited is because he's one of the only doctors who still makes house calls, right?
Yes. He's something of a doctor come fixer, as we find out.
Well, yes. as they're dancing, he notices that his old buddy from med school, Nick Nightingale, is the pianist at the band in the ballroom. And after the band takes a break, he goes up to chat up Nick. He's like, I never understood why you dropped out of med school. And Nick is played by, of course, Todd Field, the director of Tar, one of the greatest movies ever made, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch Tar, right?
Oh yeah, love Tar.
Yeah, we should do Tar. It's not that.
We'll do Tar.
We'll do Tar.
It's plenty apocalyptic.
Oh, it's very. I mean, it's awesome. So as Nick and he are chatting, Nick gets sort of called away by one of Ziegler's henchmen. And that's our first hint that there's something going on with this Nick fellow.
Mm-hmm.
Nightingale, of course, the bird that sings sweetly in the darkness. A lot of the names in this are very like on the nose, I would say.
Yeah.
A kind of Prince Andrew approaches Kidman. He's a Hungarian kind of aristocrat figure, and he's just coming onto her so hard. He's just like he grabs her glass, and she's like, "I think that's my glass," and he's like, "I'm sure it is."
Yes, I'm certain of it.
Yeah, that's right. It's quite over the top. He's then like, "Have you ever read the Latin poet Ovid on the art of love?" This is like, is this stew? Is this something I would say? It's ridiculous. And then she's like, "Didn't he end up like alone in a desolate place with a terrible climate?"
Right.
He's like, "Yes, but he had a very good time beforehand." I don't know what to make of this performance. I think a lot of people get turned off by this movie because everything is so arch and weird
and slow.
It's quite slow.
There are a lot of like unnecessary responses to things. There's a lot of finishing of conversations that is not typical for most movies, right? Like information has been gleaned and typically you will move on, but they seem to play out a lot of the conversations in this kind of like exhaustive way.
And there's a lot of repetition. We'll talk about that, but many people have noted that, especially once he gets into the sort of dream aspect of the story, people are always asking him questions like, "Do you want to go inside?" And he's like, "Go inside." Bill gets cornered by two hot young women. Apparently he gave one of them a handkerchief on the street because they had something in their eye. So he's like this hero. And they're being very suggestive. They're like, "Why don't you come upstairs with us to presumably some kind of sex room?" Meanwhile, the Hungarian guy is doing the same thing to Alice, his wife. "Have you seen Victor's sculpture garden?" Right? But before Bill can be tempted by these women to go to where the rainbow ends, he's called away because he needs to help Ziegler. And then we have the great scene of Ziegler pulling on his suspenders without a shirt. It's a horrifying image. And there's a woman who's just zonked out on an armchair in the bathroom. I love the idea of having an armchair in your bathroom. Pretty weird, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a sign of extreme wealth, right?
I don't know. I've been around some rich people. I've never seen that.
Gotta fill the space somehow, Stu.
There's also just an insane nude tapestry on the wall. And I'm like, is this just the part of the house Mrs. Ziegler never goes to? Right? Bill comes in. He tries to wake up Mandy, which is the name of the woman who's
had some combination of heroin and cocaine and is on death's door.
A speedball. But, he's like, "Mandy, wake up." And she's like, and she wakes up. And Ziegler's like, wow, you really saved me here. I love that we never see him help anyone. It's a little bit like Jack Torrance in The Shining, where he's this doctor, but his only ability as a doctor is to be like, "I'm a doctor," right? Mm-hmm. Like, I need to give Nick some medical information, right? Like he constantly uses the social role of the doctor, but none of the sort of positive healing aspects of it. He's like, "Better let Mandy relax here for an hour before you send her home, or whatever." He, in a way, I felt like him saving Mandy, this sex worker, is parallel to him helping the girl who was just flirting with him earlier. Like, he does these like really insignificant gestures that get blown out of proportion into a kind of heroism. Mm-hmm. Ziegler's like, "This is just between us."
Yeah. No, he's gonna go tell everybody what's going on.
Excuse me, before the band starts again, I just had an announcement to make. So eventually Alice has gotten kind of bombed, but she rejects the Hungarian guy on the grounds that she's married. And, also I love before he leaves Mandy, he's like, you're going to need some rehab after this. You know that, don't you? She's like, I know. Like, oh, well, that problem's solved.
You're left with the unmistakable sensation that she's definitely going to get clean.
Oh, she's on the road to recovery. It starts there. It starts right there.
Such is the power of his doctoring.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. We cut back to their house. There's another shot of her nude in glasses, and there's a biography on her nightstand of Lord Longford, who's like this British anti-smut reformer of the 70s, who almost single-handedly got Clockwork Orange banned in the UK.
Right.
And it's a Mrs. Whitehouse. This is like sort of the prelude to the video nasties British thing. I love the censoriousness of the Brits. Like, it's really something else. That said, we don't have that in America, and we also have mass murder daily. Maybe they're onto something. Well, I guess they also don't allow everyone to just have guns, but never mind. Yes. It's probably the media. That's probably the reason. Anyway, we see them the next day. Bill's being a doctor while Helena is with Alice at home. She's temporarily out of work because the gallery she worked for closed. Again, we see Bill doctoring, but he's just like taking the heartbeat of like an incredibly large-chested woman who's nude in his office. He's also like feeling the tonsils of a kid, which is funny. So it's like, what kind of doctor is this? Like, is he a pediatrician? He sees like, beautiful babes and children. It's a little weird, right? Like, when I was a kid, I would go to the pediatrician. I think that's right. It's usually how it goes. We again see Kidman nude. The Kidman is nude a lot in the first part of this movie. It's a little like, okay. She's wrapping up a Van Gogh book as a gift, and then she gets her pot out of her secret hiding place in the one place no one will ever look, the Band-Aid box in the medicine cabinet. They start smoking. The weed looks like absolute dirt. It is like,
I noticed that too.
It is the shakiest. I mean, this is
they're so rich. They're on Central Park West, and they just have the worst weed ever.
This is 90s, though. This is
it's tougher time.
I mean, but in the 90s, come on, hydro existed. Like, it's not.
Yeah, right.
It's not the 70s. Anyway, it's pretty funny. This is like one of the most famous scenes and one of the weirdest scenes in cinema history, I think, where they're just getting stoned and behaving like two people who've absolutely never in their life ever smoked marijuana, right?
Yeah, or in a sense, spoken to each other about anything real?
It's right. They're like really talking across each other. They're kind of questioning.
Right, but it's also like full of crews, like slightly befuddled at learning that men hit on Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, he's like, wait a minute, wait. Other men,
and then he gets equally as stunned to find out that sometimes she thinks about having sex with other people.
Right, she has an interior life that isn't entirely focused on him, and that's the thing that just breaks him. Right?
Yeah,
like he's actually never thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, it's one of my favorite parts of the movie is that obviously we'll get into the crux of the movie, but he goes on this pretty incredible and confusing, almost otherworldly journey, but at every break all he can do is think about his wife fucking somebody
Dude, no,
else.
I mean, it cuts
somehow it's still so important.
It cuts back whenever feasible. It cuts back.
Yeah, it's like your entire universe is shifted, and you're like, oh my god, she wants to fuck the naval officer from way before.
the one we saw last summer in Cape Cod. All of that is directly from the novel, by the way.
Yeah,
it's the naval officer. They're not in Cape Cod; they're in Denmark, but it's the same exact scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get to that in just a second. The great line, "Relax, Alice. This pot is making you aggressive."
Yeah, really, really of the times, right?
Just like, what does that even mean? I've never heard anyone.
Well, just like, I feel like pot was used as a tool in film and television as a way more serious drug than it actually was, right? Back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, partly to scare children from using it. I think we've kind of gotten beyond that as a culture for the most part.
For sure. I
It's
just don't think that line is in the movie today.
No, no, it doesn't make any sense. And she's like, "It's not the pot, it's you. You can't give me a straight answer." She's pissed when he reveals that he has no idea of her interiority.
Yeah,
She's
that's
like,
right.
"What?" She's like, "What the fuck?" And she's like, "Don't you Don't you think the women, when you're like checking their breasts for lumps, don't you think they fantasize about hot Dr. Bill or whatever?" He's like,
Yeah.
"No, I assure you, it is all very professional." And it's just
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
right.
Right. It's like,
Um,
exactly what are you trying to save here? It's a very strange defense at this moment.
yeah, and he's like, "Sex is the last thing on this hypothetical woman's mind." And
Right.
she's like,
I mean, if he can't see the interiority of a real person in front of him, boy, is he going to have a hard time with a hypothetical patient.
"Yeah, no, well said." Um, she's like, "Haven't you ever been jealous about me?" And he's like, "I know you would never be unfaithful to
No,
me."
no, I'm married to Nicole Kidman. Why would I ever be jealous for 1 second? Surely nothing would ever come up.
um, and that this is when she does the remember that naval officer that from last summer. This is kind of like the crux of the novel. The novel really
Mhm.
like this comes much earlier in the novel. And that afternoon, Helena went to the movies, and we made love, made plans about our future. Yet there was no time that he was ever out of my mind. And I thought if he wanted me, even if it was just for one night, I was ready to give up everything. You, Helena, my whole fucking future, everything. And they keep cutting back to Cruz, just looking like utterly obliterated. He's like, this fantasy is like so much more real to him than anything
That's
that
right.
actually happens in the in the movie, right?
Right.
Even like the really crazy shit, he's just kind of
Hmm.
like, okay, that's weird. This is the one thing that actually like reaches him. And and then she also says it was weird because at the same time you were dearer to me than ever. And at that moment, my love for you was both tender and sad. I barely slept, and I woke up the next morning in a panic. I don't know whether I was afraid that the naval officer, had left or that he might still be there. But by dinner, I realized he was gone, and I was relieved. And just as she reveals this, he gets a call. One of his patients has died.
Well, I do also just want to say before we get
Please.
into the next part of that it's somewhat similar to the pot era that they're in.
Yeah.
This is kind of like a moment where obviously it's an evolution, but there's still this. There's a famous line in this, right, where it's like, if you men only knew, right?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And I don't think Cruz is exactly, or Harford is exactly out on a limb here in terms of the men of the time, right? This idea that, like, no, yeah, men kind of go around and they're spreading seed, and what women want or is this, and this is
Yeah. Yeah.
another
Yeah.
moment that I'm not quite sure. I think men know at this point,
Yeah, yeah. This is
right?
like a sort of men are for Mars, women are for Venus kind of
Yes,
moment.
exactly. That's right.
Sort of really
Anyway, yes,
reductive.
carry.
No, I think that's well said. That's right. So I love that he makes house calls. He goes out, but as soon as he leaves, he's in a cab, and all of the cab travel scenes. There's a little bit of a Shining vibe. He's kind of doing the Kubrick stare in the cab,
Mhm.
and we just cut to this fantasy of the naval officer just
Right,
ravishing.
which I love too, because the fantasy that he's cooked up isn't what was described, right?
No, no, like nothing happened. She didn't
Right,
sleep with the
right.
naval
And
officer.
so, but he's like playing out all of the motions of the sex that didn't happen.
And he keeps seeing it and from different angles, different positions, like it
That's right.
and we cut to it like 10 times. It just
Hmm.
comes back. It's one thing about this movie that I think is underrated is it's fucking hilarious, right?
Yes.
I mean, this is like a ridiculously funny movie. So this old man has died. His Swedish daughter um is at his, deathbed. He's just passed. And her boyfriend Carl is not there. He's a math professor. They're going to get married in May. And Bill's like, "What wonderful news." And she's like, yeah, he's got a new appointment in Michigan. And he's like, Michigan's a beautiful state. I think you'll like it a lot. Which is like,
right. And then she's seemingly confronted with the idea of actually living in Michigan, and then just instantly goes for Harford, starts making out with him, starts yelling that she
says, I love you.
Yeah, like anything to keep me away from Ann Arbor. You know?
Well, I mean, it is hilarious when he's like, you're going to love Michigan. It's like, oh yeah, this like jet-setting European woman who lives on Fifth Avenue in like the biggest apartment we've ever seen. Right. She's going to fit right in with the other, professorial wives in Ann Arbor.
Go blue type vibes.
Yeah, she's going to be right. She's going to the tailgate. She's going to but probably never seen the Ann Arbor tailgate, right? I mean, it's quite comical. She kisses him. She's like, I love you. I love you. I don't want to go away with Carl. Even if I'm never to see you again, I want to at least live near you. Mm-hmm. Which is just a great thing to say. Then Carl returns. Carl, very handsome. When you hear he's a math professor, you expect some kind of nerd to... No. Yeah. Carl's...
just towering over Cruz.
Yeah, he's just this gigantic stud walks in. And he's like, wow, thanks so much for coming. And then he gets out of there. He's like, well, I was just leaving. Fake New York, right? We see him wandering the streets of New York, but it's all a reconstructed approximation of
London, right?
It's in one of the studios, Elstree or Twickenham, one of those big, it's a whole constructed set, which I think really comes through because whenever we see him wandering around, it's on these same 3 blocks, right? Like
it also also fits with the theme of the ideas of the movie.
Absolutely.
Right?
The fakeness, the dreamlike quality, the unreality. I think it works perfectly. A bunch of proud Yaleys come by, and they sort of gay bash him in a very
sort of
sort of completely over the top way where they're like, I'm a prime cut of meat. The guy's like waving his ass at him.
Also of the time, with the go back to San Francisco.
Yeah, the go back to San Francisco is the last thing they say as they're walking away. Meanwhile, he's not even that bothered because he's still just tortured by the naval officer.
Yeah, he's like, guys, if I was gay, would I be that bothered by this naval officer fucking my wife?
People have said that this is like Kubrick kind of taunting Cruise about the gay rumors that sort of have dogged him throughout his life. I've never really thought Cruise was gay.
To say nothing about the jealousy rumors and the fact that Tom Cruise was married and lost Nicole Kidman, right?
To say nothing of that, of course. He immediately meets a streetwalker, a sex worker.
And he's like, yeah, I'm straight. Let's go inside.
And she's like, do you want to...
I'll show these kids.
This inaugurates the repetition thing where she's like, would you like to come inside with me? And he's like, come inside with you?
Yeah.
There's a bathtub in her kitchen. Love that. We talked about this, like this is sort of an old New York apartment that doesn't make any sense in its layout prior to the homogenization that has taken over the city since then. Meanwhile, we cut back to Alice. She's watching a movie. Apparently, it's an Italian movie about an unfaithful husband, believe it or not. Weird that an Italian would ever be unfaithful in a movie. The woman says her name is Domino. They sort of kiss a little bit, and he agrees to pay her $150. But then, just at that moment, Alice calls him on his phone. He has to turn off the music, take the call, and it sort of snaps him back to, like, what the hell am I doing? So he gives her the money, leaves without actually consummating their meeting. Then he comes to the club where Nick is playing. He arrives just to see Nick finish his set. Nick is in from Seattle to do, like, a 2-week stand at this nightclub, and apparently... he's also got this other little gig he's doing even later in the night, right? This is after midnight. This is like 1 a.m. He's like, I play this other gig. I play blindfold.
Which is interesting, right? Because there's also like this resistance to Cruz joining him at the gig, but it's like, why did you tell him? All you had to do was not tell him?
Yeah, you just never mention that, and this never happens. Sure. Then he gets a call. He said, I don't even know where the gig is yet. They call me an hour before it starts. Doesn't get started till 2. He writes the word Fidelio on a napkin, which of course, Fidelio, great word. It means, a faithful person. It's the name of the Beethoven opera, right? In the novel, the password is Denmark. So in both cases, and Denmark is where the naval officer was, here being faithful, right? In
Yeah.
both cases, the password ties into the explicit theme of being faithful, unfaithful.
Right.
He goes to this costume shop and somehow goads the owner into. I love he's constantly being like, "I'll give you an extra $200." Like, how much cash does he have on him? He's got to
Hmm.
have just like $1,100 in his money roll, right? Because he gives out $200 here, $300, right? It's just kind of crazy, right? And
Yeah.
again, this is so this is the famous scene. The guy's daughter, the costume shop guy, a very young Lily Sobieski, is
Yeah.
having some kind of sexual encounter with these two Asian seeming
Yeah.
gay guys. It's very confusing, right? Because they're
Hmm.
very gay coded. They're in drag. They have a lot of eye makeup on, and yet they're apparently having a threesome with this 16-year-old or whatever
Yeah.
she is, right? Uh, the shop owner Milich is like, "I'm calling the police. Get out of here now. Let me deal with my customer." He gets a cloak and a mask, which is the uniform. Again, takes a cab to this mansion in Long Island, I think it is, right?
Hmm.
Uh, and he knows the password so he can get in. He takes a cab and he pays the cab to wait outside of this weird sex party.
Yeah. Very good idea. That's not going to cause any problems.
Definitely not, right? I mean, he's
Can
really
you wait out? Can you wait outside the top secret party? Can you do that for me? Just
no
right here?
no one's gonna notice that, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, weird. There aren't 100 cabs waiting out here. Strange. I'm the only one who decided to keep my cab here.
yeah, pretty weird. So there's a censor, there's a red cloak guy. He's surrounded by hooded people. Everyone has a mask. As I said in the book, this is during Carnival when like costume parties and mask things are sort of normal. So it has a different context. A lot of people on the internet read this as like some kind of satanic ceremony, which I guess, but it seemed just kind of like an Orthodox Greek Christian ceremony to me, with
Yeah.
the incense and the chanting and the sort of. It didn't feel specifically satanic, but what do I know? I'm not. I think people in America are just so quick to label things satanic,
Yeah.
right? Like I think Epstein was just evil. I don't think like so you have to bring we don't have to bring
Mhm.
Satan into it, right? But
Everything's satanic. Back in this era, Marilyn Manson, Eminem. I mean, a lot of Tipper Gore was throwing that word around, I'm sure.
yep. No, good point. So one of the guys in a kind of pirate mask nods at him and he nods back. Some people interpret as like his responding is the thing that tips him as being an outsider because you're
Yeah.
not supposed to, there's some kind of unwritten rule that's being broken. He, the whole thing is kind of a just complete shit show. One of the women immediately, there's a lot of nude women. They have the topless women that are in a
Hmm.
circle. Everyone kind of breaks off, and the women start selecting masked men to go have sex with, right?
Hmm.
One of them immediately picks him, and they do like a mask. There's a lot of mask kissing. The masks
Yeah.
cover the mouth, but they're still kissing. The woman immediately is like, "You shouldn't be here. Like, you got to get out of here before it's too late. Like,
Right.
you're fucked." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And then
Yeah.
someone,
It's lucky that I was matched with you. You really should go.
Mhm. Anyway, the whole scene. I noticed this time that we walk through. There's a lot of people sucking and fucking, etc.
Yeah,
There's
although it's interesting, right? It's not actually like overly pornographic at all, right? Like it looks there's really very little to distinguish it from like a scene in a bar in Game of Thrones,
yeah, yeah,
you
like
know?
one of the brothel scenes or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I mean some of that is to the way that it was censored with the sort of digital
Yeah,
guys.
sure, sure.
But no, I agree. Again, I think we talked about this. There's a lot of implications of sexuality in Kubrick, but there's not a
That's
lot
right.
of like real sex. I
That's right.
noticed this time there's a couple of gay people who are dancing.
I did see
There's
that,
like
yeah.
two women, two men are dancing. I was like, oh, it's an inclusive satanic orgy. How nice. Eventually, the woman comes back to him and is like, no, really, like, get out of here. Like,
Yeah.
and then someone's like, excuse me, are you the guy with the cab waiting outside? Your cab driver urgently needs to speak to you. He's like, he does. And they lead him around the
Oh,
corner
no
and
problem here. Do I take my mask off to talk to the cab driver? How does this work?
Right. I mean, he's truly a naive
That's
guy
right.
at the evil orgy. Like, they turns around the corner and oh my god, it's the red guy. This time he's flanked by two purple guys. That seems bad, right? You don't want the red guys bad enough, but red guy with purple guys. There's almost
Trouble.
there's almost like a Star Wars aspect to it, like the Darth Vader and his Imperial guards or whatever. I
Yeah.
mean, there's something very comically ridiculous. They're like, what's the password? He's like Fidelio, and then they're like, what's the password of the house? And he's like, I must have forgotten.
I so badly just wanted him to really confidently be like, trick question. There is no password for the house.
He honestly behaves like Homer Simpson in this
Sure.
scene, right? Like that is how dumb he is.
Right, it's this weird balance where he's naive, but he's not losing his mind enough
Yeah.
to match that, Like, if that's how you're going to act, then, like, look around. This is actually super, super messed up.
Right. Why doesn't he like, what the fuck are you guys doing or something,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Why does he leave? Yeah, there's a lot of options.
But he takes none of them. And then the red cloak guy is like, get undressed. And they're going to strip him and do some kind of, they make him take off his mask. Anyone who knows him that's there is like, oh, that's Tom Cruise. Damn. No, it's Bill Harford, the famous house call doctor. Oh, yeah. I've heard good things about him. Anyway, the woman intervenes, says, take me
Volunteers
instead.
as tribute, basically.
Yeah. And he's saved. Presumably he gets to leave. They're like, you may go. He leaves.
Right. She says he's good. She's I'm ready to redeem him. We're not quite sure what this means, but it does free him up.
Seems ominous, though.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of the movie is him trying to kind of determine whether this was real or not, almost.
Yeah.
Like he goes on a little investigation quest. When he gets back, Alice is having a terrible dream, but she's also laughing hysterically.
Mm-hmm.
And he wakes her up, and she's like,
and instead of being like, oh, it was just a crazy dream and going back to sleep, she
tells him what happened. They were naked in a deserted city. She was terrified. Bill went off to find some clothes for her. She feels wonderful now that he's gone. It's beautiful garden, and she's naked in the sunlight. And then the naval officer appears. And at first, he's just laughing at her. But then, shock of shocks, they have sex. And suddenly there are
his worst dream fears confirmed
in her dreams.
And it gets even worse because I haven't even gotten over the naval officer dream. Now you're telling me that you're fucking hundreds of men?
Right. Well, there are hundreds of people around them, and they're all fucking. I don't think she's fucking all of them, but they're all. But it's like
no,
she's
but
had
she did lose count, right? Yeah.
She's had a dream about the orgy that he was just at. It would seem.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Then I was fucking so many I didn't know how many I was with. And she just wanted to really make fun of Bill and laugh in his face. So she did. And then he arrived and woke her up. Awesome dream. I love it when, the cliche of like, if a girl has a dream about you cheating on her, she'll be mad at you when she wakes up.
Yes, that's right.
This is sort of the reverse of that.
That's right. He goes in dream.
Yeah. I cheated on you in the dream. And no, you cannot be mad at me.
Oh, if you men only knew.
Yeah. Goes back to the rest of the movie kind of just everything kind of unwinds. He goes to the nightclub, the jazz club. It's closed. He says he needs to find Nick at the diner next door. It's a medical matter. Gets Nick's info, goes to the hotel. Alan Cumming is there as the
star turn. Great scene.
Great role.
He's like so enamored with Cruise.
Yeah,
like,
he's
during
just
the scene.
He's so into Bill Harford / Tom Cruise. And he's like, yeah, Nick was escorted out at 4:30 or 5 by two big burly guys. They're really well dressed, but he had some bruises on his face. Looked a little bit, I don't know, he looked a little scared. He goes back to return the costume, but he finds he doesn't have the mask. Weird. The two guys from the night before are back, and everything's fine now. And they're apparently having sex with his daughter again. The daughter comes out. He's like, come back anytime if you need anything beyond a costume. That's available too. He
Right.
seems
So
to be
now he can be trusted. So he's like into this club as well,
exactly. We see him at the office. What is he thinking about? That's right, naval officer. He foolishly gets his car and drives out to the mansion where the orgy was
Yeah.
held. Can you imagine
Good
doing?
friend.
Can you imagine doing that?
You know where I should go?
I was
You know.
busted in the most embarrassing, shameful way
Mhm.
imaginable.
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna
By an
revisit
incredibly demonic presenting group that seems to have killed my old friend Nick.
and have threatened to kill me and my
I'm
whole
just gonna go to the
family.
gate. I'm just gonna go to the gate. I just
They
and
give
then oh no,
there's
there's a camera.
and there's a note
Yeah.
waiting, and it has my name on it. Uh-oh. I love the
Hmm.
note. Give up your inquiries, which are completely useless, and consider these words a second warning. We hope for your own good that this will be sufficient. He's like, will it be?
Yes.
I like how many things come back, right? When Victor asks Bill to be discreet, that sort of presages or like it's a premonition of them being like, you're not to tell anyone about
Right.
this after he gets caught.
Hmm.
Uh, when he's talking to Alice about his patients, my patients, they never think of me sexually. The next woman he sees in the context of being a doctor patient makes out with him
That's right.
spontaneously, right? Like everything he says has been undercut in this movie.
Hmm.
He gets back home, sees the daughter, sees the wife. She wants a dog who could be a watchdog. Why would they need a watchdog? Has he
No, I
done
don't know.
anything to set anyone on their trail? Uh, I love that he has Bud in his fridge. He's like, I'm gonna have a beer. What kind of beer? Oh, Budweiser. What? As he's watching what she said about the dream about fucking all the guys comes back, just to vary from just the image of the naval officer.
That's right.
We see him, he's like, oh, I have to go out and make some more calls tonight. Sorry. All he does is use his profession as an excuse to like get
Did
out
you
of
remember from the beginning of the movie when I said this is what you get when you make house calls? I'm doing that again.
time for another house call. Yeah. He goes back to visit Domino. He calls Marion, the woman who made out with him. Carl answers and he just chickens out. Can't even be like, hey, Carl, I just wanted to see if you and Marion are doing okay. He can't even,
Hmm.
almost like he wanted Marion to answer and then run off with her.
Yeah.
Goes back to Domino's apartment. Domino's gone, but her also very attractive roommate is there, invites him in. They're standing chest to chest. It's an incredibly strange interaction.
Yeah, it looks like she's wants to fuck him
Yep.
and then instead delivers quite the haymaker.
She's like, oh, well, since you were with Domino last night, you probably should know the blood tests came back, and yeah, she's HIV positive.
And he doesn't explain that he didn't actually consummate the transaction, but we are left to understand that he really has dodged a bullet here.
Yeah, exactly. As he leaves, he notices a guy's trailing him. He buys a paper. The headline of the paper is "Lucky to be alive."
Yes, it is a very funny movie. Yeah.
He goes into a coffee shop, reads the paper, sees a little story about a beauty queen who's mysteriously died of an overdose.
Interesting.
Could that be the woman that saved him?
Just after her stint in at the party redeeming, right? I mean, it has to be, right?
Yeah. How could it not be? He goes to the morgue and he's like, one of my patients just died. And they're like, right away, Dr. Harford. He goes and stares at her body. Of course, she was masked, so he has no way of confirming whether it's the same woman or not. He stares like really weirdly at this dead body's face. It almost seems like he's gonna kiss her. It's
almost like he's trying to imagine if like her with a mask on in a way to then confirm her identity. Weirdly,
yeah. And then he gets a call from Ziegler. Ziegler's like, "Look,
hey bud, can you pop over?
Yeah, we gotta have a little chat, buddy. It's a little bit awkward." And he's like, "Whoa, what problem is it? What's your medical issue that I can help you with?" He's like, "It's not exactly a medical issue. It's concerns you. You see, I know what happened last night. You might have the wrong idea about one or two things." And Bill's like, Victor, what the hell are you talking about? It's like the most unconvincing, like, disavowal imaginable. He was like, please, Bill, no games. I was there at the house. I saw everything that went on. Bill, what the hell did you think you were doing? I couldn't even begin to imagine how you got there. Then I remembered you were talking with Nick. He like immediately put it together. He's like,
Yeah.
also, you left, most people come in limos. You left a cab waiting for you outside. Oh,
The cab
and
tricks again.
you had a signed receipt in your jacket pocket with your name on it from the costume shop where you got your hood. It's like Bill could not have done more wrong if he tried, right? Like it's just absolutely amazing. He's like, "What happened to Nick?" He's like, "Oh, Nick's fine. He's back in
Oh, Nick's all
Seattle.
good.
He's back.
Yeah, Nick's good.
Probably fucking Mrs. Nick." Great line.
Yeah.
Probably banging Mrs. Nick.
Yeah.
Great. Just like, what are we talking about? There was no second password, you idiot. And he's like, what happened to the woman? Like, is she? And Ziegler's like, what if all of that was staged just to terrify you, just to like keep you quiet? What if there
Yeah.
was no like evil murder? That it was all just bullshit. And then he's like, well, what about this? He has the like article. He's like, what about this dead woman? Is this the woman? And Ziegler's like, yes, that was the woman. Also, he implies that she was also the woman he saved at Ziegler's party
Originally.
the other night.
Yeah.
And they're not the same actress, right? It's two different people.
Mhm.
And this is very ambiguous. Like, does it matter if they're the same woman? Ultimately, no.
Well, it's also like the dream element of it all. Like, you have a dream when it's someone, like, it is somebody, but it doesn't look like them. You ever had that happen?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or you dream someone from that you knew you're yourself, but the person in the dream is like what you knew them as 25
That's
years
right.
ago or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like all these discontinuities of the dream. So eventually Ziegler's like, she got her brains fucked out. She was a junkie. She OD'd. End of the story.
Mhm.
Life goes on until it doesn't, but you know that, don't you? And then we cut back. Ziegler, very strange figure.
Yeah.
A lot of theory videos about who Ziegler is. Is Ziegler the pirate guy? Is Ziegler the red mask guy?
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of dumb stuff analyzing this movie. Someone was like, "Oh, the pirate mask guy is clearly Millich." I'm like, "Oh yeah, because Millich, the costume shop owner, is surely at the elite sex party. Like that makes sense. You understand this."
How do we keep
Alice,
him off our scent? Invite the costume guy.
yeah, Millich can be trusted. I think the point of Millich is just that, like, yes, the elites have their perverse sex parties,
That's
but
right.
normal people do too, right? That this stuff is everywhere, that
Mhm.
everything is kind of pervaded by this seamy underbelly. It's very Freudian, right? It's just
Yeah.
underneath the surface is the roiling id, is the libido, the sex drive, and what Freud initially called destrudo, the drive to destruction, which seems to be possessing Bill a bit in his idiot quest. So he goes back. Alice has the mask on the bed when she's asleep. He wakes her up crying. He's like, I'll tell you everything. This also happens in the novel, point for point. And then the final scene, they're at FAO Schwartz, I assume, which used to be the big toy
Yeah.
on Fifth Avenue, kind of where the Apple Cube is now. I remember going there as a kid and being so excited. I think that's where Tom Hanks in Big does the dance on the keyboard. Although
Mhm.
maybe that's Chicago. I don't know. Anyway, it's a legendary toy shop. The daughter's like, "Oh, I hope Santa gets me this giant bear." We have this really final awkward. A lot of people note the daughter walks off screen and there are two guys ahead of her and they're like, "She just got abducted by the Epstein." I'm just like, I don't see that. I don't think that's there. But
Yeah, I don't see that.
this final dialogue where he's just like, what do you think we should do? And then she's like, what do I think we should do? I think we should be grateful we've managed to survive through all our adventures. This is exactly like the novel, whether they were real or only a dream. Are you sure of that? And she's like, am I sure? Only as sure as I am that the reality of one night, let alone that of a whole lifetime, can ever be the whole truth. And no dream is ever just a dream. The important thing is we're awake now and hopefully for a long time to come. And then he's like, forever. She's like,
He's back in. Yeah.
Forever.
What if we go full delusion again?
Yeah, just like what if we go right back into the idea of eternity? Forever. And she says, let's not use that word. It frightens me, but I do love you. And there is something very important we need to do as soon as possible. And he's like, what's that? She's just like, fuck. And the movie ends.
Yeah.
And
the kid's just standing there with a Barbie doll being like, what are you guys talking about?
So I think, we've kind of touched on what the movie's all about. I mean, it's about the fact that the world is sort of riven through with all of these fantasies and unspoken desires.
Right. And it is not fair to like suggest that it is this like direct comparison at all to the Epstein stuff, but rather the like pervasiveness of seedy and worse sexual behavior from a nuclear couple to the streetwalkers, as they were called,
the costume shop,
right, all the way up to the top,
or even the rich Swedish daughter of the dead man, right? Like everyone in this movie is living some kind of double life. There's a doubleness, and that the point is ultimately that we all are all the time. And this is, Schnitzler knew Freud a little bit. I don't know if they ever met, but they corresponded. They were both in Vienna at the same time, obviously. And Freud, I think, commented, he's like, Schnitzler, like, knew all of my ideas without ever having to read me. Like, Schnitzler just sort of, his stories embody Freud's ideas in a way that Freud's like, that Freud probably would have called uncanny, another great Freudian concept, right?
Of course.
So, yeah, I mean, I love the movie. It is a little bit long. It's a little bit, it's a little bit slow, but it's so funny and so weird. And there's such
no, it's pretty captivating without like, I mean, the length is because he's able to keep this thing interesting enough without having to like ramp up the stakes. Like there's no car chase with people trying to kill Bill Hartford for coming to the party. Like there's none of that takes place, right?
Yeah.
It's all very soft.
It's all just suggestive, right?
That's right.
There's a menace, but it's a menace that's spoken of and alluded to. There's a note about it, right? With his name on it.
No, I mean, it went out strong. I gotta say that can't say that about a lot of longtime directors.
Oh,
right?
that Kubrick went out strong. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know what he would have changed if he lived a couple more months or what have you. I mean, it is a tragedy that he didn't live another 20 years and make a couple more films. But if you're gonna go, you may as well go out with a bang, And this movie was hated when it came out. People hated it.
I remember
going to it.
Like it was like a joke.
Oh yeah,
people thought it was like a late night bit.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. I went to see it, and I'm not
gonna. I feel like its reputation has been recovered, though, right?
Oh, 100%. This is true of almost all of Kubrick's movies, right?
Yeah.
Most of them are not comprehended or understood. I'm not going to say that I got it as an 18-year-old seeing it in the movie theater, but I immediately knew that it was very good and that it was something weird.
I knew nothing.
You knew nothing, Jon Snow?
I had no opinion. I was dealing with other concerns.
Touche. All right. Well, I was glad to revisit. We have a few more Kubricks, but we're gonna take a little Kubrick break for at least a few weeks. And next week we're
go
gonna
back to the real end of the world.
Yeah, we're gonna talk just about some of the news items that have been circulating. With we haven't even talked about the ICE Minneapolis stuff and just how grim that is. Obviously, it's horrific. And now we've got Trump trying to arrest the Fed chief, Jerome Powell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seems like things are going well. So next week we're gonna do another news episode, talk about that.
Yeah.
And that should be interesting and not at all heartbreaking and depressing and demoralizing. But until then, this has been the end of the world. Oh wait, I almost forgot to say. If you like the show, you can follow us on the podcatcher of your choice.
That's right.
If you really like it, you can leave a rating and or a review on that podcatcher. You can also follow us on Instagram at the End of the World WMS, where we like to post reels with highlights from the show. But so news next week, and until then, this has been the End of the World with Michael and Stu.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Stu, and we'll talk to you real soon.